Welcome to another episode of Barman Saturdays, and this week I decided to take a look at Terrordactyl, a prehistoric ride into hell. And yeah, it's on the back of the box, so blame the box, not me, okay? I just wanted to do a quote, one of these days on the back of these boxes, even if it's not particularly fitting. But as far as this movie goes, I'd say one of the most interesting things about it off the bat is if you look at the Internet Movie Database, the person with the highest listing is not one of the main characters. It's a character that's only job is to be sexy lady in a bikini. That's it. That's her entire role in the movie. She pops up in like the first 10 minutes, and the first 5 of those minutes we have spent on, the opening where they're showing one of the creatures, grabbing a drunk truck driver, and flying off with him in the sky to eat him later. Which I admit feels like a bit of a nod to other creature features like Tremors that do a similar thing, but in my opinion, this movie kind of hurts itself with this opening because it shows the creature, like in all its glory, basically. I'm like, you might want to hold off on that because sometimes less is more. Like, you could have just had, the claws grab him as he's running away, and, we hear him scream as he's being carried off. That would be enough, in my opinion. Probably would have been better. It's like, ooh, how big is the pterodactyl, Like, let me guess, how big and scary these monsters are. Make me wonder and entice me to watch more, Don't show me everything right from the get-go. I mean, I guess they hold back on the giant pterodactyl that's like 5 stories high, but that's kind of ridiculous because, once you get that big, a pterodactyl wouldn't even be able to fly because it'd be too heavy. The biggest pterodactyls that ever flew were like the size of a giraffe, and that was basically pushing the limits of flight right there. Like, they're so big and heavy at that point, it's hard for them to, lift themselves up to do a quad launch or whatever to take off. At least I think that's how it's said. They're most likely able to get airborne. So, yeah. A 5-story pterodactyl being able to fly, not a thing. You would have to walk everywhere, which would be really dumb. If you got that big, it's pointless. I mean, I guess you could argue that the advantage of size is very little to want to predate on it, maybe, but it'd have to eat a lot. And, at that size of how awkward its movements would be, it probably wouldn't be that hard to predate on anyway, because it wouldn't have a very good skills at defending itself. I'm just saying that pterodactyls aren't really designed for walking around on land. It's just a terrible decision. But I suppose we should get back into the pointlessness of having a character whose only existence is to be hot chick in a bikini. Because that's what started this rant, right? We were talking about how the movie's, top billed actress as far as the movie is concerned, on the Internet Movie Database, is a character whose only job is to be, a sexy lady in a bikini. Which says a lot about the actors, I suppose, that they're basically a bunch of no-names that did an indie film, which is fine, I've looked at B films before, so I'm used to, basically no-name actors popping up. It's just, you think it would have went to, one of the main characters, even if it was just the crazy vet Samson, you think he would have been maybe top or one of the main characters like it's like, nope. Most famous person is playing the sexy lady in bikini who doesn't get eaten, doesn't pop up again after the first 10 minutes, and just disappears and has no importance to the plot. So she didn't even have to be there, and it wouldn't have changed the movie at all. So, pointless role. Though I suppose if I had to get to my big gripes about this movie, it has pacing issues. It was so boring at points. I was actually jumping ahead in the movie trying to get back into the action. I'm like, I came here to watch pterodactyls get shot by people with guns. Give me that. Once the fighting kicks off, don't waste my time with characters getting into dumb arguments or just driving somewhere. Okay. Unless there's going to be a chase by the pterodactyls, at least that would be interesting. But some of the stuff they did, yeah, it just slows down the movie and makes it boring and feels more padded out than it needs to be. Sort of like having that sexy chick in a bikini, just pointless. Another thing that grinds my gears, because I'm something of a nerd, I suppose, is that they refer to the pterodactyls as being part of Dinosauria, or their nerd character does. He's the only one that knows anything about pterodactyls, apparently, because our main male characters, Lars and Jonas, have never apparently played with a dinosaur playset, which came with, non-dinosaurs like mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and pterodactyls and plesiosaurs. Like, are you kidding me? Like, even if they didn't know a ton about pterodactyls, you at least think they would know what they were if they saw one. But no. Then they have the nerd character be like, nope, they're dinosaurs. I'm like, they're not dinosaurs, damn it. Ugh, they're archosaurs. They're from a related sister clade, but they're not part of Dinosauria. Ugh. Grinds my gears. Same thing with plesiosaurs. They're not dinosaurs. Again, archosaurs, different line of on the tree of life, man. I mean, or a different branch, I suppose, in this case. Closely related to Dinosauria, but not in Dinosauria. Different. You can distinguish between them. Outside of the pacing issues, I suppose the CGI is all right, and the action's okay-ish for what you get. You know, we get a guy that turns a leaf blower into a flamethrower, so we get some of that fun action. So at least they make use of his, invention skills. They show off at certain point with his shovel umbrella. They actually has capacity to make some more interesting inventions that actually have some practical application than nothing. Because let's face it, this shovel umbrella will never take off, and it's a dumb idea. Like, there's things you can combine for cool things maybe, but shovel and umbrella is not one of them. Like a shark bazooka might be a bit cooler. But yeah, it's an okay-ish creature feature, but the pacing issues might make you just start skipping around stuff like that, to get to the good stuff. Until next time, then. See ya.
How about you guys stow your drama, drop your dicks, pick up your guns, and kill some reptile?